Attention, all views and opinions expressed in this video and channel are for educational purposes only.
All right, everybody, so we're back once again.
Oh yeah, back
Bella's
again.
here, in person,
Yeah.
live and uncut.
Got some new pictures.
Yeah, I got some new stuff here.
Very nice.
You know, Beetlejuice, Batman. I even had an Elvis.
Yeah.
You know, because he hasn't left the building.
No, he hasn't left the building.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I saw it somewhere over there. Is that Elvis? Oh my God, he's got Elvis.
Elvis.
Elvis. See, he's got Elvis. The building.
He's in the building whether we like it or not.
Exactly.
Okay, so Belle, you ready?
I am ready.
Here we go.
Let's go.
Smoke shop owners, your displays are your sales team. If your store looks cluttered, your product won't move. Go to displayarama.com, grab what you need to make your shop look legit, and use my code ChadWade5 for 5% off your order. Displayarama, real fixtures, real fast. All right, Belle, so what you got today for us?
So we're going to talk about why positioning your brand, again, branding, is a very big deal, because it can have people come in and it could be different target markets, right?
Sure.
So let's just say you want a budget friendly like atmosphere and you want to be the low baller of the building, you know, of the town or whatever area you're in, metropolitan area, whatever.
To me, that's never a good place to be.
Yeah, but anyways, so let's just say you want to be the budget friendly where you have the best prices in town.
Best price!
Yeah, exactly.
How many times y'all heard that? Best price! Give me best price!
I have no idea where that's from, but that's besides the point.
I hear it every fucking day.
So, or you want to be the high-end boutique place.
Or bougie.
Bougie.
Bullshit place that can't nobody afford.
But maybe that area can, because
But maybe
they think,
that area can.
maybe you're in like,
Maybe you're driving high-end Porsches. Maybe you're driving a Maserati.
maybe that's the area that you're in, right? And
Maybe
you have to go to that.
That's your dope, man. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, they
So,
don't like the 5 and below.
Maybe-
They think that's below them.
Maybe you got a $10 blunt.
From Blunted Codes.
Well, they're a good cone, man. I would pay that.
Anyways,
Perfect brand.
so-
Tobacco-free, by the way, with glass tip.
Anyways, but your positioning can mean everything to you. So, like I said, if you put a premium positioned place, right?
Yeah.
Into what needs to be a budget-friendly place, you're gonna go down the tubes and you haven't even opened up the books.
That's right.
Because your pricings are not right, how you put everything on the walls doesn't look right, because you have to, whenever you walk into it, right? Your feeling has to be either premium, budget friendly, or somewhere in the middle, right?
Yes.
Just because you have a budget friendly doesn't mean you have to have a crappy store either. That's not what I'm saying.
No, but you definitely don't.
But you have to make it kind of look like it and kind of appease to your audience and your target market.
Yes.
And that's your big thing, is knowing who your target market is. If you don't know that, why are you there?
More importantly, why is your customer there?
Exactly.
I mean, are you a convenience store or are you a destination spot?
Exactly.
Because if you're just the guy where they walking in, hey man, let me get a pack of those OCBs off the wall. Let me get a pack of those Jokers. How about a blunted cone?
Yeah.
Right? If that's all you are, man, I mean, you're not even a destination. You are a fucking convenience store, and they literally walk in for that. But a person.
But maybe that's what their store is for, right?
That may be all they are.
That's the thing is with positioning, is like you need to know exactly what your store is and
Your
what
lane. You
what
gotta
you need
stay
to do.
in your lane.
Exactly. Don't try to veer off into other things or try to be 3 things at once when you're not.
You can, in our industry, you cannot be all things to all people. It's not possible.
It's not possible. Everyone goes to their store. They don't leave unless something crazy happens, right?
You know, a lot of these Middle Eastern stores know what they are.
Exactly.
They know that people come in and all they want is, $20 and below.
Exactly.
And that's all they're gonna buy.
But they know that.
But they know it.
Exactly. And that's the smart thing.
And they got soft drinks and
Exactly.
they got, chips and shit of that nature.
No exotics.
They don't have any exotics. They don't have anything high end. They ain't got any really expensive energy drinks or anything like that. No bullshit girl coffee, in there or anything of that nature.
No cocaine energy.
Definitely no bougie cocaine energy.
It's really
or
good, though.
first form energy drinks.
Oh yeah.
And that shit's high.
It is. It's really high.
But I found someplace local to buy those.
Really? I
have.
found somewhere local to buy them in.
But I wish that we could find a cocaine energy drink place.
Well, that's the biggest thing. They're all in Vegas.
They're just hard to.
They're all in Vegas, all the places.
And Amazon.
And Amazon.
You get them shipped right to your door, but they're expensive as fuck.
They are, but that's the point.
But anyway, that's different. But anyway, yes. So I know that these guys understood it, and like when they place orders with me, they're like, "Hey, what do you have right now
that I can
in hand pipes that I can sell for no more than $20?
Yes.
And can you send me a PO for that?"
Yes.
And sure, so I got to put it together, send it over to them. You know, they want grinders done that way.
Yeah,
they want papers,
because
blunts.
they know.
They want the whole, because they know where they're at.
Exactly, and that's the thing is knowing your market. If you don't know your market, that's the easiest way you're going to fail. Because if you don't know it, you're not going to sell nothing.
So I mean, I can't send them Yocan shit. I can't send them ooze vaporizers, anything like that, because they know it ain't going to sell.
Exactly, and your positioning may be, honestly, maybe as simple as, this brand doesn't sell, but this does.
Right, and so do you have an alternative to it?
Exactly.
And I get that question a lot too. Do you have something that I could sell for less money?
Now that also is something that you could talk to your rep.
This guy.
All right, and he can be like, yeah, I can do this, this, and this, but you know, it's gonna be this price. Well, I need it at this price, so I can sell it at this price. Okay, well, let me
That's
push
just
you
a
to this one.
negotiation. That's a negotiation, and then I could give you alternative brands that you can start looking at, and I could give you some alternative SKUs to look at.
Now, if your rep doesn't do that, you need to switch to
You need to
Wholesale.
switch reps, exactly. So if you don't have somebody who wants to work with you, instead of always trying to upsell you, to take more money out of your pocket, your rep should always be looking and trying to understand you and your store.
Exactly.
And if they don't, then you should find a new rep or a new business altogether to deal with. And of course, we do that here at UNS Wholesale mainly because we already own stores.
So we understand it.
And we understand it.
Exactly.
And so it's important for us to understand what you do as a company. And I don't need you to bullshit me, because I can't help you if you bullshit me and tell me about how great your store is and how much money you're making. Yes, but what's your clientele? And if you can't tell me your numbers, I can't help you.
Exactly. And honestly, the most realist you should probably be with someone is your reps.
Right.
Because your reps are going to be there to help you. And maybe they figure out something, okay, well, we know, let's just say you're in the hole, all right? But we know this is a fast mover and this is a great profit margin.
And you will turn money faster.
Easy.
With your rep understanding your business.
Exactly.
And I don't need to know exactly what you sold last year, but I do need to know what your average ticket price is per customer.
Exactly.
I have to know that so that I understand exactly where you're looking. Now,
because if your wholesaler or anyone or your buyer or anything is trying to sell outside of that, that's not going to help you. What they're going to do is
they're going to bleed you out.
Exactly.
They're going to bleed you out until you're either bankrupt or you're insolvent, which is pretty much the same fucking thing.
I will say that we are a unique circumstance where we do have stores. We understand it. He has worked from the ground up.
Literally, the flea market.
So he does understand the market very well.
Right.
That's something a lot of these wholesalers can't do because they don't understand
They've never had stores.
Exactly.
They've never had stores.
Because they thought, let's just open up the wholesaler. And so they understand how to bleed you dry.
Or they worked at a wholesale and then opened their own wholesale because they stole their whole supplier list. Which happens quite a bit, but we didn't do that. We started the correct way from flea market to store to us. And that's how we did that. But this isn't about our story.
Exactly.
What this is about is helping the retailer understand how to purchase.
Exactly.
And so
purchasing matters, and I've really have harped on that because honestly, it can make or break your store.
Well, for us, I want to, and I've lost a lot of money because I just didn't want to rob anybody, and I've always told them the truth. And I've told them exactly, this is what we're looking at, this is what you got. And so when I do that, I automatically tell them, I know I've lost $1,000, $2,000 on the sale. I know it.
But it's because you're honest.
Well, I just want to be honest with them, man. I don't want to steal from you, and I'm not a thief. And so if you've got somebody that you always feel weird about when you're talking to them, and you know that, oh my God, when this person calls, he wants a fortune. I don't want anything. I just really want to know you're still open. That's all I care about.
Yeah, all you want to know is that. And if you're like, oh my God, I'm on the brink of, I don't know, I got like 60 days. Let me help you. Let me just figure out what I can do.
Let me see if I can get you to 90 days. Let me see if I can get you to 120 days. Let me see if I can get you 180 days. And if I can get you there, why wouldn't you keep buying?
Exactly.
And that's how I do it.
Exactly.
And I literally just want one sale at a time. Let me show you what we can get done, and that's part of it. But I can only do that if you tell me where your lane is.
Exactly. And that's the biggest thing about positioning. So honestly, if you're gonna open up a store, the first thing you should do is, where am I gonna position myself? Where am I gonna go to? Because you can't even put product in the stores, develop your pricing, developing your marketing strategy without knowing that.
And the easiest way to do that is to walk around and look in the neighborhood of where you're gonna be at and literally walk the street. You know, look at the cars. Are they high-end cars, or are they, you know, middle-of-the-road cars, or are they beaters? You know, and when you walk around and you're talking to people, you know, that's in the area, in the stores, you know, check out their clientele, because their clientele is probably going to be your clientele, because the neighborhood matters.
Exactly. And the first thing I always ask people whenever I'm starting marketing is, what position are you in? Where are you guys going to start at? Are you guys a budget friendly? Because that also, for me as a person, I'm going to be able to tell, how much money do you think this person is going to have for a budget? And that's based off, okay, are you budget friendly? Are you a high end? Because those require different budgets.
I always ask those people, hey, what brands do you carry? I ask them that. I ask them that.
That's the first thing I ask.
That's my first thing.
What do you carry in the stores?
What brands do you carry in your store? And I mean, you know, if you're watching this, really stop, look around your store.
Literally pause this.
And literally pause and look at the store and say, what brands am I really carrying? If you don't have any branded water pipes, any of them, you may be more middle to budget friendly.
And you may not even known it.
But I mean, you might not need them.
Exactly.
You might not need them. If you look at your hand pipes and you don't see a brand on them, you don't see any kind of logo on them, you might be a budget or a middle of the road.
Yeah.
But you might not even need them.
Exactly.
You know, so why bother to bring those in if nobody has ever requested that?
Exactly.
And
now
so,
it's different if someone's requested it and it's more than one person.
If they say, hey, I want some crushed glass, you know, I want, you know, crushed water pipes, or I want crushed hand pipes, or if I want anything along that lines, you know, then you have to start looking for them. UNS Wholesale, by the way.
Very nice glass.
We carry those.
Very nice glass.
If you don't carry high-end hookahs and you're carrying box hookahs, you know, in a little, you know, paper box.
Now we got some cool hookahs.
And so now I do have some cool hookahs, but I mean, they're pricey, and you may not be able to sell them.
Exactly.
You know, and if you can't, I got it. I understand that, man. No problem. But I may not be your demographic for that, but I know I am, because most everything I got is middle to lower end. We have
some high-end stuff.
I've got some high-end. I just don't have a lot of it.
Yeah.
Because I know I don't carry it in my stores.
And that's the thing, is like, he has stuff that he's going to carry in his stores.
I only carry, everything in my stores is carried right out here in this building. So I mean, I know exactly what I'm talking about. I know what my average ticket price is. I know exactly how that's going to go. And it is what it is. And so if you're in that position, I can help you. But it does matter that you know
exactly
what your average ticket price is.
Exactly. So that's all I got to harp on is positioning.
Positioning.
Lord, I got on budget friendly.
Right. Well, because you need to know if they know.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Do you know what position you are?
Are you realistic enough to know where you really are?
Or are you in La La Fairy Tale Land, cupcakes and rainbows, thinking, oh, I'm great. This place is amazing.
If you're unicorn and rainbows, man, you're probably already full of shit, and I don't want to deal with you anyway.
Yeah.
Because I just don't want to deal with a lie. And it's important to know exactly where you are and being realistic. If not, man, you probably don't need to be in our industry.
Exactly. So,
all right, that's all we got.
That's all I got.
All right, everybody, that's it for the day. Thanks, Bella, for being here. I'm glad you're back in the studio.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll do this again maybe before you run off back to La La Land.
La La Land, Bubble Town.
We'll see what happens. But we'll probably be in a different studio when it happens.
See?
I'll bet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I bet so, too.
All right, everybody. See you next time. We love you. Have a good day.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Watch, they're still going to be here.
I know, they're still going to be
watching.
here. They're going to be in La La Fairy Tale Land, eating those mushrooms. And
see? There they are. Look at them.
I know.
I see them.
Yeah.
I see them over there.